The stock market is in turmoil. There is war, and CEO Alex Karp is making some very big moves. So, what does all of this mean for Palantir stock? Is it going to rise since it was named the #1 in AI market share and revenue, beating out Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and IBM? Will rising interest rates and downward market pressure continue to take this stock downstream? If so, how low could Palantir stock go? Plus, we need to talk about Elon Musk warning that Russia can utterly destroy US, Europe with nuclear missiles in under 30 minutes, as he posted on Twitter. This actually has big implications for Palantir, which I will discuss at the end. But first, check out how Alex Karp discusses the Russia and Ukraine war and how software will be the key component to fixing it.
Welcome back to Squawk Box this morning. Russian President Vladimir Putin raising the stakes in its war with Ukraine. Putin says he's not bluffing when he says he's going to use all means to defend Russia, including potentially using nuclear weapons. Joining us right now to talk about this and Putin's nuclear threat is Alex Karp, CEO and co-founder of Palantir. And the last time we saw you in Aspen and prior to that in Davos, in some ways you called this in terms of this potential threat. So where are we really at this point?
Well, it was a pleasure to talk to you then and a pleasure to talk to both of you now. When we were talking about the reality that nuclear weapons are on the table 3 and 2 months ago, of course, that was derided. The general belief I had just comes from building a software business and seeing software in action in war, where software plus heroism can really slay the giant. And I know the Russians just underestimated the power of kinetic plus software plus heroism. And then I believe it's a zero-sum game in Russia, and there is no ability for Putin to lose. He can't just fail at war and then retire, which is what we're used to in democracy. Politicians fail and then we have another politician. And so the reason why I was sounding the alarm at Davos, and then again when we talked to much derision, was simply this combination of American software, the way we build software, plus a kind of heroism that is very unusual, would outperform the giant of spend. And that leads to just this jarring reaction. And we don't want to believe in the West that...
Basically, the situation is complicated, but Palantir is going to make money because software is essential in war and defense. As the leading software company that offers data intelligence to the US military, Palantir has positioned itself as a company built for bad times. I prefer peace, and I hope this situation is resolved as fast as possible. However, unfortunately, this is an opportunity for business for many defense companies. Palantir is a business that builds on the resilience of the US defense spending budget, as well as the growth potential and profitability margin of a software company. The US is increasing their budget, and as we know, the country has over $31 trillion in debt. It does not look like it's going to stop spending money anytime soon. But the main reason I think Palantir will rise is artificial intelligence. I mentioned this in the beginning. As corporations and institutions continue to grow in size, in which capital becomes scarce, while the geopolitical uncertainties create new possibilities for additional supply chain disruptions, it becomes crucial for them to ensure their software business runs uninterrupted and is constantly up to date. While the migration of their data into the cloud in recent years helped them to digitize their processes and scale their operations, the changing environment now forces them to look for solutions that would make sure their businesses would weather any upcoming challenges with relative ease. That's where Palantir Technologies Apollo comes into play. As a standalone product, Apollo is able to autonomously deploy custom-made software and security updates to various environments of different organizations in real time, which ensures the safety and continuous operations of critical systems of Palantir's clients. Thanks to this, Apollo could be considered a one-of-a-kind solution for big organizations that rely on continuous deployment of software and security updates to run their global operations in a challenging environment. Palantir would be able to continue to expand its business even in current turbulent environment, which could lead to the appreciation of its shares in the long term. In my opinion, Palantir is a $10 stock short term and $20 stock in the next 12 to 24 and maybe 36 months. Not sure if it will quite take that long, but I do see Palantir going up 2 to 3x. Now, this is going to take multiple quarters of successive operations and successful execution. The long-term value really does depend on Palantir's core offering, government relationships, and the future launches of Apollo systems. As an automated platform for continuous deployment, something like Apollo is incredibly important to Palantir. Apollo evolved to become a standalone product in 2021 and is now able to be used within third-party platforms to provide updates for custom-built software solutions in virtually any environment. As a result, Apollo gives Palantir the ability to substantially increase the number of new clients, as it could successfully deploy custom-built updates with relative ease. One of the biggest advantages of Apollo is that it replaces the need for its potential customers to build in-house continuous integration and continuous delivery capabilities. Instead, the potential customers are able to focus on developing the software itself and then outsource the deployment of that software to Palantir without increasing their headcount whatsoever. As you may know, I am bullish on automation and replacing manual labor, repetitive, and other automatable jobs with software. What's also important to mention is that Palantir recently received an Impact Level 6 accreditation from the Department of Defense, which makes it possible for government contractors to use the company's solution to store, share, and interact with data of the highest level of authorization. Therefore, Palantir is only one of the few companies, along with Microsoft and Amazon, with the highest clearance level in the world, which gives its platforms, and Apollo in particular, advantage against other platforms offered by different businesses in the DevOps and CI/CD space, which we just mentioned. What we also know is that Apollo has already been able to deploy software and security updates in over 500 independently released microservices across over 300 different environments. At the same time, there's also a possibility that those numbers are gradually increasing with each quarter as Palantir continues to aggressively sign new customers. And at the end of Q2, its customer account increased to 304, up from 169 a year ago. As for downside, it's hard to say. Here's why. One of the downsides of Palantir is its high level of secrecy. Due to working with governmental agencies, the company can't disclose various contracts and relationships that it has with its clients. As a result, we don't know exactly how much revenue the company generates from each client. The other problem of Palantir is that as a growth stock, there's a real possibility that it could continue to depreciate or trade at distressed levels for as long as the Federal Reserve continues to increase interest rates to tame the rising inflation. As a result, while Palantir is undervalued at the current levels, in my opinion, it could remain to be undervalued for a while due to things that are outside of its control. That's why Palantir CEO Alex Karp might be correct when he states that the demand for a solution such as Apollo could be as significant as the demand for other data analytics solutions that the company offers. That's because this business would be more easy to value and diversify in the eyes of the public. So Alex Karp is smarter than you may think, and once Apollo and a few more quarters pass, I expect the stock to swing up widely and be saved by Alex Karp. For more updates on Palantir, make sure you're subscribed and you have notifications on for my channel. Thanks for watching.